Hi,
Hey, John.
how are you?
I am better than good,
Oh, wonderful.
better than most, sometimes better than that, blessed and highly favored. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I got kind of an anxiety issue today. I normally take I didn't take my benzodiazepine last night, and I think that's probably what did it. But I'm doing okay.
Okay.
Um, I'm ready for us to do our session.
Okay, so let's start with that. The anxiety, that's fear.
Yeah.
So who's connected to this fear? Is it about something you're doing or someone that's causing some challenges for you?
Yeah. I'm trying to do an awful lot of healing practices with Mark, and so I've probably bit off more than than I can chew. That happens to me on occasion, and I'm going through a detox program right now, that's pretty fierce. It's got all kinds of cleansing herbs and everything. What I have is um, a my immune system that was compromised for a number of reasons, but primarily because of the COVID shot. Um, and I've got shingles. I've had shingles now for a year and a half. So I've got a lot of skin conditions that bother me.
Hmm.
And um, the digestive issues. I've been constipated, but the herbs that they gave me have worked. It's a two-phase thing. It's called Dr. Schultz's detox. And what it does is it gives you a bunch of herbs that make you defecate, and it helped. It's not easy because I've been on a lot of different things trying to get rid of this. I did a whole couple of months of doing diatomaceous earth,
Hmm.
and then 2 weeks ago I started this program, and so I got through the first week, and now I'm in my third day of a 5-day program that ends in 2 more days. So I've only got to get through 2 more days with it. And uh, I have found that um, it's pretty fierce,
Yeah.
and um, I so it makes me very uncomfortable.
Okay. All right. So we know it's fear. We know Mark came up. So he came up first, and whether he did anything or didn't do anything, we're going to forgive him too. And uh and we'll just see how your body responds if you feel a little more ease. All right. So
Okay.
saying out loud, yo, fear, I touch and I stay.
Yo, fear, I touch and I stay.
And I love my fear into my courage and my faith.
And I loved my fear into my courage and
My faith.
my faith.
And I give myself permission to forgive Mark.
And I give myself permission to forgive Mark.
And I give myself permission to forgive myself.
And I give myself permission to forgive myself.
Yeah. And I choose to make this fun and easy.
And I choose to make this
Fun and easy.
fun and easy.
Yeah, I choose to make this fun and easy.
I choose to make this fun and easy.
And I remember my secure love.
And I remember my secure love.
Yeah, so now make it a statement like matter of fact. I remember my secure love.
I remember my secure love.
I am secure love.
I am secure love.
All right. Only love touches me.
Only love touches me.
I touch only love.
I touch only love.
Yeah. I reestablish love in all I feel.
I reestablish love in all I feel.
All right. How you feeling right now? Did that move some things in your body?
Um, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It moved. Yeah, my groin, which is where I have the biggest problem. You know,
okay.
that's where the real issue is because I've got my hips, my back is curved the wrong way from having forward head position. And so I'm standing and I've been having a lot of problem. My feet are swollen, my knees are swollen because I stand so much. I'm learning how to sit and redo that. Mark's helping me, and I have Anne, of course, my therapist. And I did a Kundalini class this morning. I haven't eaten today. I'm only going to eat one meal because this detox thing is pretty fierce. And I am trying to allow my gut not to be overtaxed. So I'm eating very bland food. I wasn't probably eating the right things. I was eating too much dairy.
Yeah.
And so I've figured out that what I need to do to make myself feel a little better with this. I didn't do my diet right. I thought I could go ahead and just eat normally my regular diet because I've been trying to gain weight back. I lost a lot of weight. I used to be about 20 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
And over the last 3 years or so, I've lost about 20 pounds. But actually, it's good because I think what it's done is I've lost a lot of muscle. So I'm trying to get a little bit of an exercise program that'll put back on a little bit of muscle because I've had diabetes for the last or high blood sugar mainly because of stress, as it turns out, not so much the diet. Um,
Yeah.
the uh, the but I'm going to eat after we finish today.
Okay. So everything that you're telling me came up in your eye report.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I'm
you
very,
did it. You got the
yeah.
eye
So I'm
report, huh?
very enthusiastic to show you what your eyes say because it has your eyes tell the whole story of what everything you just said.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd like to get so forgive me ahead of time because technology is I choose to know more.
Yeah.
But I want to put your pictures up and the report next to each other. See if I can make that happen.
Okay.
Um,
Hang on, I gotta turn on my air conditioner. Yeah. Okay.
okay. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, this is your right eye.
Okay.
All right, so can you see my cursor on here moving around?
Yes.
All right, so these are the things that really stand out to me.
Uh-huh.
Because okay, so the white is your sclera, right? The white of your eye. That tells the story of your outer world, what's everything outside of you.
Oh.
Your iris, right here, this
Uh,
tells the story of your inner world, your
okay.
belief systems, where you're having challenges, things like that.
Uh-huh.
So red lines like this are means there is some significant current stress about it.
Uh-huh.
Like so this line that's at what 10 o'clock, and then we go over here to 4 o'clock. They're directly across from each other. You see that?
Yeah.
So that's usually how this works. We get the 180 of everything. So this line right here with the fork, you see how it forks off right there?
Yes.
So that means that's a significant stress for you currently, especially when it forks off like that. It's even more stress than this thick line. So when we have a fork, and then all this redness in here, can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, all this redness in here means significant stress right now about
Uh-huh.
love and fear, right? So
Yeah.
you and I are a lot alike. We weren't allowed to feel fear, anger, or pain. And so we suppressed it to where we were just, like I know my parents was like, if you're not grateful, being ungrateful, they withheld love for me. And so I started to learn how to mask my fear and my pain and my anger in order to keep receiving love. And so this line in particular, where I've got my cursor, this one, this significant red line right here,
Yeah.
this is about what you're thinking and doing and your responsibilities as a male. All right. It's also about love and fear. It's all, see how this is all connected?
Yeah.
So this is connected, your responsibilities with love. All right. So this means you've been holding back your love and it's causing you some challenges, like some significant, oh, whoops. Where'd I go? Okay. All right. Significant stress from holding back your love.
Yeah.
And if we go 180 over here to this side, the reason why you're holding back this love is because you were never supported the way you required. I won't say never, but you'll say most of the time you experience some significant challenges from not receiving support from your dad. That's what all this is right here. And
From
then
support from whom?
your dad,
My dad.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So not being supported from your dad led to anger and fear. Okay.
Oh,
And that's what all this is. Anger, fear from not being able to give all of your love because you have a lot of love to give. It's one of your greatest strengths. We'll get to that in just a moment. Well, you can see how your eye, your pupil, your iris is not a perfect circle. And this is not just you, this is most of us. You can see how it flattens out up here at the top and how it gets kind of blurry.
yes.
So your pupil should go where this cursor is, all the way up here. Solid.
Oh boy.
So, and it's not wrong. It's not a judgment. Like this is uh so in scripture, God says, if you see a twig in your brother's eye, take the log out of your own. So I choose to see what your greatest strength is from this. So, John, your creative genius is your greatest strength because your dad basically put his thumb down on you to suppress your creative genius.
Oh, that's hard to, no, he wasn't present a lot because he worked in Manhattan and, I mean, we talked about it before.
Yeah.
He was a very good man. I mean, he was he was a wonderful, wonderful person. It's just that I was raised and my personality came out like my mother, as you know, as an overachiever, you know, to say, you know, what I had to do. And he wasn't that way. He was more relaxed.
Yeah, and it's not about him being good or bad. It's just that we get emotions from certain things. And like you, since he wasn't there and he was traveling for work, you were raised by a female.
Yes.
You know, like the generation before you most likely was raised on a farm where your dad was there the whole time and, and gave you that masculine presence
Oh,
a
okay.
lot more. So we become, we develop the feminine traits because we're raised by women. I mean, me too, and I've had to relearn how to get into my masculinity. And,
Oh,
but that's what this is. That all that blurriness where my cursor is, so you can see all that blurriness is from your dad not being there and supporting you.
uh-huh.
And he may have, like he provided a roof over your head. There was ways he supported you, but you required more from him, and it's okay to acknowledge that.
Okay.
And so that's your outer world, right? So you get to restore your support in you, and then it shows up out of you, outside you. So when you feel, in your mind and in your heart that you are fully supported, by your creator, by yourself, you can love with all your heart. So
Yeah.
the example I'm going to give you is like when you talked about your son and you saw that shift in him where he called you, that was
Yeah.
you loving with all your heart and your entire world shifted because of it, especially your son. Right? So that's what all this is. When you love with all your heart, all this restores back to white. So your eyes will change once you've changed. And I'll show you on your left eye where I think something that we've already acknowledged has created a shift in your eye. I'll show you what I'm talking about, but I got a few more things to point out here.
All right.
So you see how this black dot here is a fully enclosed circle or oval?
Yeah.
So when we have a fully enclosed circle or oval, this means that you believe it. You have a belief system. Okay. Now, that area right here is your genitals.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and
Yeah.
you're obviously experiencing physical pain there.
Yeah.
So, this is about your creative genius. So, the other day when we had our last call, you shared with me about the quantum field and the theory of relativity, Einstein's theory of E equals mc squared and how I'm the speed of light times mass. I mean, I choose to remember everything you said, but my hair was blown back by your genius. And so when you hold back your creative genius, which is this sign up here where my cursor's going, this
Uh-huh.
right here, right? It also ends up being your procreation,
Yeah.
right? So your creativity is also your procreation. So if you're suppressing also in your intimacy,
I'm sorry, suppressing what?
suppressing um when you're suppressing your creativity, you're also suppressing your pro creativity, which is intimacy. That's why the crotch, your crotch stuff is showing up.
Oh,
So when you fully express yourself and your genius, and then especially with your feminine people in your life, uh, that all shifts for you. And it starts just with you expressing how you feel. That's going to be a big deal for you. It doesn't mean you have to go out and have sex with everyone. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about intimacy in your feelings, right? Connecting on a heart level.
okay. Well, you know, I am sexually impotent,
Okay.
and I the groin problem is such that um you know, I don't know where it all started, but there's no question that in my life, I definitely confused sex with love. And
Yeah.
for me, the sexual issue has always been huge in my life, because I have what doctors call performance anxiety. That I had a hard time getting an erection when I was with a new woman, or the first time or whatever,
Mhm.
because I guess I don't know why, but it was that way of performance anxiety. So when I finally got a partner, I stuck with a partner, and my first divorce was because I lost sexual desire for my wife, and I couldn't stay faithful, so I asked for a divorce because I was suffering, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to work. And so when I found Alexandra, I got a divorce. And then with Alexandra, it was very much of a sexual relationship. And there is love there, but it's not, it doesn't allow me to do what you say, the expression of my genius. Alexandra and I don't communicate on many levels. And it was all right when I was working full time and I was active and all of that. But I've been retired now for the last 11 years. And I didn't really want the divorce from Alexandra. She wanted it. And so we got it. And then later, of course, she comes back and says it was a mistake, and all of that sort of thing. And I've been trying to maintain a relationship with her. Um, but and it could potentially lead to sexual activity, but it's complicated because I think I have I feel like I was a sex addict, and I think I'm having a reaction based on all of that and the confusion. And
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you see all this blurry and
it,
the orange is sulfur. That's about confusion, right? In your creative genius. Then we come down here, these circles, the black circle, the white circle, that's your belief system that something's wrong with you.
uh,
And there's nothing wrong with you. So is now a good time to fully forgive yourself?
okay.
Let's say yes or no. Is it now a good time to fully forgive yourself?
I'm sorry. I didn't follow.
That's okay. Is now a good time to forgive yourself?
Is now, yeah, of course. Sooner
Have
the
you,
better.
yeah, and have you fully forgiven yourself for the separation with your first wife?
Um, I don't know, to be honest with you, to re-examine it, you're making me re-examine everything.
Hmm.
And so, but yeah, no, there was no question that it was a horrible guilt. Okay. It took me 10 years. I was unhappy in my marriage for 10 years.
Hmm.
And what it was, I think I know what I know what I believe was behind it. My wife and I were my first wife. We were uh, she was my first actual. I lost my virginity with her, and she lost hers with me when we were in college. Because back in our time, we had a repressed sexual environment. I think I know where my sexual issue came about. My parents were never, I never saw any real physical affection
Yes.
between them. And my mother, for instance, my mother never got dressed or undressed in front of my father. She always got dressed and undressed in a closet that was her closet. And she had, we had a 2.5 bedroom house, a half downstairs and 2 bathrooms upstairs. And my father shared the bathroom with us kids. My mother had her own bathroom that was in the room. And they, in that time, you know, they had separate beds. In my generation, we all had a king size bed. But sex was definitely a forbidden subject. My father, back with the sex education, we used to have to go watch, when we were in the 6th grade, we'd go watch a science movie about the sperm and, you know, how it gets fertilized. And that was about all the sexual education we got. It was all the biological issues. We never got any sexual counseling or anything.
Yeah.
And so it was repressed, is I guess the word. And you know, that my there was no real birth control back then. The pill
Yeah.
came out when we were in
So
college.
did we for
You're phased out, I think. Hello, are you there?
I'm here now. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I'm picking up what you're saying. And so to say that you weren't supported in the way you required, you know, you didn't get the support and education and you just got repression. Like, don't feel that, don't show
Right,
that emotion.
right.
So what we can do is forgive your parents in this. So we're going back to the first memories of this stuff and saying, yo, grief, I touch and I stay.
Yo, grief, I touch and I stay,
And I love my grief into my joy.
and I love my grief into my joy,
And I forgive my parents for all their mistakes.
and I forgive my parents for all their mistakes,
Yeah. And I forgive myself for all of my mistakes.
and I forgive myself for all of my mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was nice.
Yeah. I felt a big shift, like ease, just whew. Ah.
Yeah, that was the parasympathetic kicking in.
Yeah. And I restore my creative genius.
And I restore my creative genius.
Yeah. I am grace and ease expressing my creative genius.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I am grace and ease expressing my genius.
I embrace and what?
Ease, like EASE, ease, like easy.
Oh, hang on. I'm going to put on these earplugs. Maybe I'll hear better. Like I'm nervous or something, so my ears aren't hearing properly. Okay, I think I can hear you now.
All right, I am grace and ease expressing my creativity.
I embrace and ease.
Yeah, I am grace, like God's grace. I
Oh,
am, yeah, I am grace and ease expressing my creativity.
okay. I didn't hear you. My
Yeah, that's
hearing
okay.
is shifting.
Here, try this one out. God, allow me to hear what I require hearing.
God, allow me to hear what I'm required to hear.
Yes. My ears are God's ears.
My ears are God's ears.
Yeah, I am secure in my intimacy.
I am secure in my intimacy.
Yeah. I create with grace and ease.
I create with grace and ease.
I am secure moving forward.
I am secure moving forward.
I forgive and I partner willingly.
I forgive and I partner willingly.
I forgive radically.
I forgive radically.
I let go with ease.
I let go with ease.
Yeah. I reimagine my parents in full union.
I imagine my parents in full union.
Yes. And I resolve all stress into grace-filled confidence.
And I embrace all what?
Here, I'll try this one again. Let's do this one. I enjoy trusting my life.
I enjoy trusting my life.
I am secure in all ways.
I am secure in all ways.
Yeah. And notice how you feel. Maybe a little bit lighter.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Cool. All right. So that's your right eye. Now we'll go to left side. So
Oh,
if you notice in your right eye, there's a lot more redness, a little more stress.
yeah.
And you go to your right eye and it's a little more clear in your
That's
scleral.
is that that's the right eye, right?
This is your left eye.
Oh, that's my left eye. Okay.
Yeah. So your left eye is your feminine mom stuff. Right eye is your dad stuff.
Oh,
So if you notice your mom's eye, your feminine side is a lot more clear over
oh,
here, but over here we still have some significant stress.
yeah.
But so you see the red line here,
Yeah.
how it's hooking back. So that's a great sign that whatever this stress is, you are resolving it when it starts to curve back away from your iris.
Okay.
That's called a J hook. So when we have a J hook, that is a great sign that you are resolving the stress that you've been experiencing.
Okay.
Yeah, and then this is all heart stuff. This is letting love in. So this is you not letting the love in from the women in your life. This is you protecting yourself.
Oh,
All right. And it's an easy fix. You love yourself, and then all of a sudden, love comes easy. Right. This is us thinking we're not lovable.
oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Boy.
yeah, you can see it's created this black over here across your pupil.
Yeah.
And this little mark here, that's a belief system.
Okay.
This white, a belief system. All right, these little black circles here. So
Uh-huh.
this whole 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, you get all this stuff. And this is a part of your greatest strength. And then you go 180 across here, you can see how your pupil is suppressed. It should be out here.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So once again, this up here is your creative genius expression. So this
My
is your mom
creative genius, what?
expressing your creative genius.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is, mom saying, turn your light down, keep your mouth shut, things like that. Whatever she said, she may not have said that exactly, um, but this is what I choose to acknowledge and so I'm going to go to your left eye.
That is the left eye, isn't it?
Yes. So this is in your book too. In
Oh,
My Word Made Flesh, it's on page 154.
all right. Let me get that out. I've got it right here on my desk.
Okay.
154.
Yes.
Oh, oh boy. Boy, this book is something else. Boy, that's detailed. I can't read that. Let me put it into the light.
Yeah, and I'll read it for you. I got it all. I've got it all in a full report. I'll show you in just a second after
All
we get
right.
through the photos. All right, so page 153.
153.
Yeah, it's a big eye chart.
All right. Hang on. Let me open that. All right.
So if you think of this like a clock around
Mm-hmm.
your eye, and you go to 3 o'clock where my cursor is,
Yeah. Oh,
and you go to 3 o'clock on your chart, this is about love and fear. The
okay.
fear of letting love in, right? So feminine side is your receiving side. So the feminine anatomy is about receiving. Energetically, it's about receiving. So this is you protecting yourself to survive and not letting love in.
Okay. Let me see if I follow you here
Okay.
on this chart. What we're looking at my left eye.
Yeah. So in the middle, there's a L.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Now I
That's
got you.
that represents your left eye. And we're just going around the clock, right? It's just treating it like a clock. So on the outside, on the white of your eyes, your
Okay.
sclera, we're going down, and we've got at 2:30 ish or 2 o'clock, in between 2 and 3, we've got this red line with this hook here. All
Yeah.
right. So if we go to 2 o'clock, this is about responsibilities received with a female. So in the past, you've had some challenges about receiving responsibilities with a female.
What does that mean?
So it can mean many things, but the things you have to do, or also receiving like the love, receiving your support, those responsibilities of a mom, giving you that love, that nurturing love. So you talked about nurturing, and that also comes up in your I report. This is about mom, this responsibilities is her nurturing you, right? So if she held back her nurturing, that's what this line is. And I think we've talked about your mom in a couple of the conversations
Uh-huh.
and forgiveness. And I feel that's why this curve is coming in. So significant stress. And then when it starts to curve back, that means we're making progress on forgiveness and gratitude.
All right.
All right. So if we go down to 3 o'clock, we've got love and fear. Now we're still on the white on the outside. So we got love, fear, handling, doing, I can't, it's too hard. So all this right here is a repeating thought of I can't let love in.
Uh-huh.
So it's an easy,
Uh-huh.
easy upgrade. I can and I am, or I can receive love.
Uh-huh. I think, you're right. There's something, it just triggered something. Um, the question of, I think, yeah, there's a connection there. Um, that maybe, does come from, I guess it comes from my mother because that was obviously my first female relationship, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so that's why it was so important. And my mother was fabulous in so many ways, but there were definitely holes in it, and obviously the sex issue was huge. And
Yes.
in my generation, in fact, I can remember early sexual trauma. I don't know if we talked about it. I can remember um, my when I was probably about 10 or 11, and you start having sexual feeling, you start going into puberty, and um, I remember that I was with my cousin in a room with him, and we both had erections, okay, accidentally, or, we didn't know what was going on. But we knew that it was something strange because we were already repressed about sex at that age. And I can remember my aunt busting down the door almost, trying to chase us because she suspected that maybe we were doing something at the age. And so sex was taboo in a lot of the relationships that we had or were around us.
Mhm.
Because like I said, I never saw much affection between my parents. I mean, there was always, I never heard them fight in the whole 20 something years that I lived directly with them. And they never fought. I asked my mother one time about it. She said, well, we're going to argue. We do it behind closed doors so you guys don't hear it. Okay. So that was the explanation. But there, in our time, there was they scared the crap out of you because girl could get pregnant.
Yeah.
And, in my world, we all knew we needed to go to college. So we didn't really want to knock up a girl, but if the girl was willing, I probably would have done it. But the girls that I dated were all, my mother would never allow me to date girls younger than me. I had to date girls my age. And I think it was because of that thing that I thought that was probably what was behind it. Um, that they didn't want an age difference when you were in school. And my mother never had a problem with me dating a girl who was a year younger than me, but 2 years younger, no, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so sex was definitely repressed in my childhood, no question about it. And that's probably where I confuse sex with love. And I think my impotence, to a large extent, it has something to do with that. It also has to do with an enlarged prostate. But the 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 I think I have a huge guilt complex, and I have like a sex addict. I'm afraid of the intimacy that comes. I think that's part of it because it goes back to my performance anxiety. But
Yeah.
it
Well, okay. Yeah, and it has to do with the guilt. So think of this, right? All this stress right here, not letting love in. Okay. We
okay.
still require love.
Oh
Even though
yeah,
we're not letting it in. So the sexual stuff is down here, right? That's what these marks are. We get our connection and our love through sex, right? That we get that connection that we
yeah,
desire.
yeah,
And it's just the bare minimum though. The sex is cool and all that, and it's great. But it's just it's the bare minimum. Like truly letting love in and expressing yourself and how you feel is the whole
yeah,
package, right? And that's what your body is telling you. That's what this is telling us is that you require letting your women, the women in your life, and letting their love in.
yeah.
All right,
Okay,
so
yeah.
let's heal. And this
Well,
is
it certainly, the results were that way. I certainly never thought I would be married and divorced twice and end up single.
yeah. So you're starting to see the patterns.
Oh yeah,
All right, so let's acknowledge what with your mom. This is your left side, so we'll bring mom up, and your mom's no longer here on the planet, correct?
that's correct.
All right, so saying, and this is what I'm picking up on sorrow. So yo sorrow, I touch and I stay.
Yo, sorrow, I touch and I stay,
and I love my sorrow into my joy.
and I love my sorrow into my joy.
I love my mom's sorrow into my joy.
I love my mom's uh, sorrow into my joy.
I give myself permission to forgive my mom.
I give myself permission to forgive my mom. Yeah.
And I give myself permission to forgive myself.
And I give myself permission to forgive myself.
And now that your mom is in God's heart, what is she saying to you right now that is confirming your heart's desire? And can you quote her?
Yeah, I'm proud of you, Johnny. It's the same thing I told you last week or the week before. There's a lot of consistency here in this particular case.
So, have you let her love in right now? You get to let her love in. She's proud of you.
Yeah. Well, I've said that before. And when I married Alexandra, my second marriage, that was really a big deal like that. I mean, there was no question that it was because of a sexual relationship. Okay, she was absolutely beautiful woman. Okay, and but she had 5 children when I married her. So we didn't have any children between us because I'd already had 2 children with my first marriage, and raising her 5 kids, I told her that was enough because
Yeah.
she wanted to have a child in the beginning. And I feel today that that was the best decision because that way I was able. I don't have that dimension. I don't share a child with her. I share the children, my children, with my first wife.
Hmm.
And that was a relationship that was a very good relationship for 20 years. And then all of a sudden, I woke up sexually. I had never really woken up to the passion of sex. By then, of course, we've been married for 20 years. But the reality was, I know exactly what happened. Um, that I guess, is it all right to go back and go over this with you?
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, what what it was with Beverly, my first wife, was really very pretty when I met her in college. She was first the girlfriend of one of my fraternity brothers, and then he dropped out of school, and we started to date. And she was pretty. She was the sweetheart of the fraternity because she was so pretty. And um, so we got married, and until I established a career, we didn't have children. We were married 9 years before our first child was born, my son. And that was by calculation because I wanted to have a career established. And I had 4 years in the Air Force, which was a great job with a lot of economic benefits, but I knew it wasn't going to last. I needed to be able to have a job that was stable in order to have the responsibility of having children. And it took me, after I got out of the Air Force, I was in Hawaii and there weren't many jobs out there. It was a bad employment area, but I didn't want to go back to New York where my parents were because I didn't want to work in New York City and repeat my father's life. So I stayed in Hawaii and I went to graduate school there. And when I got out of graduate school, I was fortunate enough to get a good job that the Dole Food Company, which was called Castle and Cook at the time, was recruiting because the dean that had come to run the business school was a well-known business consultant, banker, and he had convinced them to give people from Hawaii a chance to go to work because they only hired people from Harvard, Harvard and Wharton, the really expensive private schools. And I went to the state school. And because I didn't have the money and I got some of the GI Bill and I worked the whole time. You had to work full time while I was going to school. And so the stress was pretty miserable. And that's why I started heavy drinking. And but anyway, that's another phase of it. But what happened was that after we had children, Beverly's role changed from being a wife and partner to being a mother. I do remember that we went 2 years without coitus back then in that time. And I remember talking to her about it years later, and she didn't even remember it because she was so wrapped up with the kids. I mean, it was understandable. And then she kind of let herself go. She wasn't able to maintain her physical attractiveness. And so it ended up that I was with a woman who was my age, but seemed to be aging a lot faster than me. And so that was what the attraction I lost. She lost the attraction for me because she got overweight. And, so when I was unfaithful, and when I was unfaithful, obviously the guilt and everything comes about, but it just blew me away because I had never experienced that passion before. Even when I remember having a sex urge and having a lot of sex when I was young with it, but it was never like it was when I got older. When it was that, like that midlife crisis, it was 40 years of age, the typical midlife crisis. But it took me 10 years to get out of the marriage. I just suffered through it the whole time. And finally I waited, and then I finally had an affair, and I realized that I wasn't ever going to be able to be faithful. So I told her, I said, Bev, we need a divorce because I can't remain faithful. And that's not the right thing to do. And so we got a divorce, and it was an amicable divorce. And we've had a good relationship ever since, as the mother of my 2 children.
Do you, so I feel there's resentment towards Beverly for choosing the kids over you.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So let's,
I understood it. I mean, intellectually, I understood it. But yeah, emotionally, no, I lost my partner because I had somebody who was a real partner. Beverly would follow me or do anything and everything that I wanted to do. She went hiking with me. She did all the stuff I wanted to do. She was a great partner. And then I lost her.
Yeah.
And because we were alone.
How about this? Yeah.
I was just going to say we were alone.
And sorry, saying this. Yeah, go ahead.
We were alone for 9 years before we had children.
Yeah. So it was a great marriage until
Yeah.
All right. So saying out loud, yo, resentment, I touch and I stay.
Yo, resentment, I touch and I stay.
And I love my resentment into my forgiveness.
And I love my resentment into my joy.
Into my forgiveness. Yeah, I love resentment into my forgiveness.
I'm having trouble following.
That's okay. No big deal. Right? And that means if you're having trouble following, it means we're on the target.
Yeah.
Like we're on it, right? Because your subconscious is like, no, we're supposed to be pissed off at Beverly, and we're changing it. We're rewriting the story here. All right. So I love my resentment into my forgiveness.
I love my resentment into my forgiveness.
Yeah. Say it again. I love my resentment into my forgiveness.
I love my resentment into my forgiveness.
And I forgive Beverly for no reason.
And I forgive Beverly for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh,
I forgive just to forgive.
I forgive just to forgive.
Yeah. And I forgive Beverly for no reason.
And I forgive Beverly for no reason.
Yeah. And I am a walking ball of forgiveness.
I am a walking ball of forgiveness.
Yeah. My love is forgiving
My love is forgiving.
and giving.
Oh, and giving.
Yeah.
My
All
love is
right.
forgiving and giving.
Yeah. Yeah. And I vote Beverly's victory.
And what?
I vote Beverly's victory.
I vote Beverly's what?
Victory.
Oh, I vote Beverly's victory.
Yeah, so that means you're imagining her super successful and happy and it's your version of her success. Your version of her victory. So you're just sending her love and support. So I'll say it again. I vote Beverly's victory.
I vote Beverly's victory.
Yes. Now say it like a statement. Matter of fact. I vote Beverly's victory.
I vote Beverly's victory.
And I vote my victory
And I vote my victory
permanently.
permanently.
Yeah. And what are 5 things you're grateful for?
5 things that I'm grateful for. That I'm alive.
Yes.
Okay. That I have a small group of very close friends. Okay. I, in general, am in good health from a medical test point of view. Um, I I have I'm grateful to be financially stable and to be retired and not having to go to work. I was fortunate to be able to retire because the lifestyle I had as a business executive had a lot of self-destructive tendencies or the way I managed it. I drank too much. I drank, I guess what psychologists call a functional alcoholic. That I
So how
drank every
about
night.
you're grateful for yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. And but how about having gratitude for that you were able to continue creating a wonderful life for your partners and the women in your life and your kids?
Yeah.
Even though you drank alcohol every night, you still created something magical.
Yeah, well, I left 2 women very well off financially in terms of relativity to uh, what most people have. So
Yeah, so that's a wonderful thing, right? And
yeah,
now imagine 2 years from now,
uh-huh,
and imagine all of your miracles are complete.
uh-huh.
So you get to choose. So that
Okay.
is, if it's perfect health, if it's a well balanced, intimate life,
A well-balanced, intimate life.
right?
Yeah, that would
So
be nice.
so no woods, right? That would be nice means it's over
Oh,
there and not
oh,
accessible, right? We're making it accessible by talking about it right here, right now, and claiming it. So even though we're imagining 2 years from now, it's still right now in your mind's eye, which tells your subconscious to create a vibration and frequency that's put out into the 3D world and it shows up. This is how we tap into the law of attraction. And
Oh,
so 2 years from now, what is your health like?
it's good.
With all, yeah, with all your miracles complete, what's your health like in 2 years?
It's better.
Get more specific. How's
Oh,
your, yeah, how's your shingles?
it's gone.
How's your love life with the two women in your life?
It's good. Which
This
two
is
women?
yeah. Well, you told me about Alexandra, and then there's another one. I choose to remember her name,
Anne.
Anne.
Yeah.
So you got your miracle with Anne. You got your miracle with Alexandra.
Uh-huh.
You got your miracle with your health.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel knowing that's all done? It's already done.
I don't feel that way.
Well, that's what I'm getting. So, okay. So, John, this is how we tap into the game of life. It's a game. So, even though we're going to get more of how we feel. So, whatever we think, whatever we speak,
Uh-huh.
and whatever we feel, that we're going to get more of that and more of it and more of it. So, even though we may have stepped in dog shit, right? And we've got these challenges going on. I'm inviting you to think, speak, and feel as though your miracles are done, just in your imagination. Imagine your health is fully restored and shingles is the ancient history.
Okay.
How do you feel with shingles in remission and you've got your full health restored?
I feel very good, but there's an issue.
Okay.
Okay. There's an issue.
All right.
I hadn't thought about it that way before. But what it is that Anne is really, to me, the perfect partner. Okay. She and I do essentially the same thing, but I'm 20 years older than she is. And she's had some really, she's a healer, shamanic healer, and I work with her. And so I think what it is that my relationship with her is based on me needing her services because I pay her and she basically only works with me because she's divorced. She was married twice, but she went through a whole lot of trauma, particularly with the marriage. And so she is not very well off financially, but I'm able to pay her enough money that she doesn't have to work other than what I'm doing. I mean, she probably can to an extent, but she and I spend 3 days a week together. And it's like on the one hand, it's a relationship that's lasted for 11 years because it's always been professional. Okay, it's intimate in the sense that we travel together, and but I pay for the trip, and I give her her separate room. Okay, we don't have any sexual intimacy, but our therapy has a lot of physical touching. So there's contact, and I love Anne, and I would love to have her as a partner. That's where I feel that's where my limit has been. I have this tremendous need, feeling that I need to be accompanied, but probably not too close because I mean, I ended up divorced twice. So, there's this huge gap in there, and that's probably that piece of it is probably underlying most of my issues, I think, from at least what we're talking about.
So what do you feel she loves you?
Oh,
And
yes, yes, very much
so
so.
let her love in.
Yeah, yeah. I try. I am trying. I am trying.
Trying, huh?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you,
yeah, I
you
do. But that's why I'm saying it, because I feel love for her. I know she feels love for me, but it's not a sexual relationship. It never has been, and appears that it never will be. Whether she's going to
is,
ever have another sexual relationship, I don't know. She
well, is
hasn't
that your
wanted one.
highest choice? Is that your highest choice to not have a sexual relationship with her?
My highest choice?
Yeah, so what do you want? What is your highest choice? What's your outcome? Is it a sexual relationship with Anne? I'll say it this way.
No,
Well,
no, it's a full-time partner.
yes.
It's accompaniment.
Yeah, so you get to express this to her. Have you ever expressed that to her?
Yeah, I think I probably have hit it around the bush. Yeah, of course. Of course. Yes. A long time ago. I mean, it's been a long time. But I know
So
now
maybe,
because I have been talking to her about getting a home together with Alexandra, and she
and
likes
how, and
that. I mean, she doesn't necessarily like it, but she doesn't want to live with me. She wants
okay,
to
and
li-
have you asked her?
she wants to live by you. Yes, yes. I mean,
Okay.
yes, many times. In fact, we have looked at places. We've taken a lot of trips together looking for a place where we could get two apartments next to each other or whatever. But she's always got some reason why she doesn't want to move. And there's nothing on the horizon. And I feel that I would like to be accompanied because I haven't been accompanied in quite a while. And yeah, it just I have this underlying need, and as far as the love and sexual angles go about it, I mean, it's still for me, it's still confusing because I don't need sex. Okay. I mean, yeah, it would help me physically, according to my functional medicine doctor, the prostate problem that I have, I could fix if I could masturbate once a month or something and clean out my prostate. But I haven't been able to do it because I haven't had the urge. Because for me, I used to look at a lot of pornography. And so that was where I say that I was a sex addict when I lost challenge in my work and all the things that I was doing because I stayed in Chile too long. Before that, I was only in a place for one. I moved like 9 times in 13 years. And then all of a sudden I end up stable in Chile for 18 years. The company had a lot of changes and all this kind of thing. And so they needed me to stay down there, but I wasn't challenged by the work any longer. And so I got involved in a whole lot of other things. I started working out a lot and doing, really taking physical. I had a lot of time. I took care of myself. I did drink. I mean, I was always I was always a frat boy, and but I was always able to do my job and always, got good reviews and, everything worked out very well for me. So that's why later on, when I talked to a friend of mine from high school who was a psychologist, she explained to me that, because she's an alcoholic too. And she explained to me the way the thing works, and it certainly was a label, but it fits.
Yeah. All right. So I get that you have these challenges, right? There's a challenge with no urge, the challenge with and not wanting to move in with you. I understand that. I understand that that is the reality of what is happening. But in this work, I have seen over and over when we imagine a new outcome, right? We are pretending, right? Like a kid does. A child
Okay.
pretends. I'm
Oh,
asking you to pretend that
oh,
all your miracles are done and
oh,
lives with you. Your
okay,
your intimacy is easy.
okay,
Your prostate is completely healthy. Shingles is ancient history.
oh,
Just pretending, imagination that it's
okay.
already done. And when you go there in your mind and you go, okay, yeah, I see it. I see Anne living with me. I see my health fully restored. I see my intimacy fun and easy. How do you feel when you think about it already done, even though you're pretending?
But it's very positive.
Yeah, what else? What else do you feel?
Happy.
Yes. Yes. So John,
Okay.
say out loud, I am happy.
I am happy.
And notice that big shift that happened right there. That's your subconscious, like send some dopamine, send some endorphins, because we're pretending. And
Oh,
Jesus
oh,
says you must be
okay.
like a child in order to get into the kingdom of heaven.
Oh,
So
wow.
the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of heaven is in our imagination. And then our 3D world, our bodies catch up to it. And how it gets there is none of your business. How Ann ends up living with you is none of your business. It's none of my business because God says, I have ways ye not know of.
Whoa. Wow.
So it's like have you ever driven your car and you go a few miles and don't remember how you got there?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We're tapping into God in us to get us to a destination. So that the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, the audio book,
Yeah.
that's what she's talking about and why she has them say, I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way that gives wonderful service for wonderful pay. The reality is, the fact of the matter is, they don't have shit for a business. But they're saying,
Uh,
oh, I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way that gives wonderful. It is creating focus and imagination on this new destination.
oh,
And so
yeah.
you get there without your conscious awareness. So feeling happy and joyful, even when you got all these challenges going on, is how you get there. Feeling happy. And sometimes it doesn't work when you say, "Oh, I'm happy now," and you're like, "Ugh." That's where this
Can,
body
can we
language.
can,
Yeah.
can we change the screen?
Yes.
Are you finished talking about my eye?
Yeah. I have a whole nother report. I'll email it to you. It's all typed up
Oh,
and actually,
oh,
let me show it to you really quick so you'll know
yeah.
what
Can
you're
we
looking
go
at.
over it either today or next time we talk?
Yes, and I'll just briefly show you. Can you? Oh, shoot. Let's see. I stopped sharing my screen. All right, I'm gonna just share it with you, just so you know what you're looking at when I email it to you.
All right.
All right, so here we go.
It,
File, John's eye. Okay, so this is the report. This is a little instruction and like telling you what it is. And then right here, this is your left eye. You can read over this when you have a chance.
all
This
right.
is your left eye decree. So these are all the decrees that you're going to say with meaning and feeling. I am secure in trusting all I feel. I am secure in my creative expression. Tons of them. And you find the ones that resonate with you, write it down, put it on your mirror on a post-it and say it, multiple times a day so that you're creating that focus
Wow.
on the new destination. Right? So here's your right eye. So left eye and right eye, the report and then the decree. So, all right, I'm done there. And I'll email.
Okay, but can we go over that next time?
Yes.
Okay, because I will need your explanation because I'm having trouble sitting and reading. I haven't been able to read. Like
Okay.
I've been standing, and so I've been focused on this little screen, and I'm doing all the physical, the human garage stuff, trying to figure out my physical thing. It's the therapy that I'm doing. I basically spend my life in therapy.
Yes. Yeah, I got you. I can read that. I'll read it over with you.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that change of the screen because I can see myself and I can see the stress and the expressions in my face.
Yeah. So the game of life is pretending.
The
Because
game of life is pretending.
yeah, so when you tend to fire, you're molding, shaping, creating this warmth and this art form of a fire, right? When you're camping and you're tending to the fire, we are pre-tending, molding, shaping, creating in our imagination our new destination. So if we're wanting to get over there, so like over there is healthful, your shingles are a thing of the past, you're living within is it's over there, right? Right here, there's something completely different. We are required to feel and think and speak as though that over there is already done. And we bring it to here. That's how the law of attraction works, is we are pretending that it's already done.
Oh, well, I'm actually working on it.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, yeah, like I said, I've had a rough day today because I didn't take that benzodiazepine last night. I think that's the reason, but it's why the anxiety came back today. But the uh I uh I really have a great solution that is definitely a step in the right direction. I'm going to for the season. I have a real problem here where I'm living.
Yeah.
Okay, I really like the apartment. It's a very nice place, but it's too urban here. I'm not getting my feet on the ground. And when I go out, I always have to wear shoes and I'm always walking on pavement. There's not places to walk on the grass and barefoot and all of that. And but we've got a beach that's over there, but it's too far away and I'm anxious and I haven't been able to go into the thing. And Ann and I are traveling. We're going to do a trip, as I told you last week, over to for 3 days over to Naples. So we'll get a chance to be together over there and full time. And we haven't done that in a year because she went through a horrible time. She almost died again. And she got sepsis. She had appendicitis and got sepsis. So she was completely incommunicado for about 3 months. And
Mm.
so I lost her. And it's like the third time I'd lost her because she got sick. She had a boyfriend and she used to go out to California. So I knew we wouldn't have anything, but she broke down on that. And, she's back. And so she and I have built a wonderful relationship. And
Yeah.
it's got everything except a sexual thing. And I don't really need that as something, if I can maintain my health and my groin problem needs to be solved. And so, I'm going to try to figure out how to do that too. But at least now we're back to traveling together because we were doing it quite frequently. But unfortunately, my gluttony came out while I was traveling over there and I got sick. When we took airplane flights, I've taken 3 trips on airplanes and I got very sick each time. Once I got hospitalized
Yeah.
in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic a year and a half ago, or a year ago, I got hospitalized. So I got a big antibiotic treatment that screwed up my gut. And in addition to that, I had the COVID and the COVID thing. I had fungus infection, black mold. I got it from the hotel over there because it was an old Hilton hotel that Naples had been flooded, because of the hurricanes. And so there was black mold in the hotel and I didn't realize it. So we stayed a little too long, I guess, because I guess we both got sick from it. But
Yeah.
we recovered. But we're going to be back traveling. And I'm looking for a seasonal place out where Mark lives because he's found a quiet place. My problem here is the noise level's too high, plus all the urban pollution. I need to get something that gets me more into nature and the country and grounded. And so I was looking at moving back into the country club over here so that I could get out and walk on the golf course because I'd be barefoot or something. So it would be an improvement if I
Yeah.
stayed here. Well, because Ann and I had talked many times about getting 2 apartments someplace, but that's sort of fallen by the wayside. She's not interested in doing that, but I can move closer to her by being near Mark, and that'll get me by the beach, and it'll shorten the time between her and me. So it'll make it more convenient to spend more time together. And I'll be out in a healthy environment because I don't consider this a healthy environment. I've got
Yeah.
it fixed up. It's very nice, but it's not the environment that I need. And I can be accompanied to an extent with the friends that I have. I've survived quite well actually, but I haven't been able to solve these issues, and that's why I'm here with you.
Yeah. So I'm going to invite you to imagine your miracles already done. So like even the meeting you have with Ann coming up, go right past it, like 5 minutes after it's done, and you had the best meeting with Ann, and you're so happy and enthusiastic, and then walk into, when you meet her, you have this enthusiasm and childlike joy when you get around her. She's now picking up on your energy. And this is how we create, is by who we're being right now.
Oh,
So if we're walking into it with our miracles already done and we're dancing and our toes are tapping, she's picking up on that and like, what is this about? I want more of this.
oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
be like a child and pretend and see it already done and walk into that thing, that meeting, like, yes, I'm so healthy.
Wow. Wow.
And when you do this,
Well, that's where the conflict is. There's where the conflict is because I'm with her because she's a healer and she gives me therapy.
well,
And
change your story.
she needs to work.
Yeah.
Okay. And fortunately she doesn't have such high living expenses. So what I pay her is enough for her with what she has saved. She doesn't have to do more work.
Yeah, you're in your rational thinking mind, right? Like this
Right.
is the facts. This is black and white. I'm asking you to get out of your rational mind and into your heart.
Out of oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I've got this problem. You're right.
Well,
That's
think
where
about
my
your son, right? Think about your son. He is very rational, black and white, and changed in you what he needed. You didn't say a word to him, and then he called you and changed. So is there a limit to your love? So you let your love in, you let your love flow to your son, and he changed. Okay?
yeah.
Is there a limit to your love on who it works on?
No.
Exactly. So you
Okay.
get to do the same thing you did with your son. You do it, you apply it to Ann and the women in your life. And that's what these eye photos are all about, is that because of your mom, you've had this limited belief system that
Uh-huh.
my love is not enough,
Uh-huh.
and your love is enough. right?
Okay.
That's you saying, oh, well, she's just my therapist and my healer, and I'm paying her to be
No,
there.
no,
That's,
I'm not really saying that because I
yeah,
feel deep love for her and I know she loves me.
yes. So let it in and let and love with
Okay. All right.
and and love with all your heart. So that's going in there going,
Don't be
I'm so
scared.
happy to be around you. Yeah, and I'm so happy to be around you. I love being around, like letting her know with all your heart
Yeah,
how amazing she is, how amazing you are.
you're right. Yeah.
And
I need to think that's something you're going to send me this tape. That part of it is here at the very end. This is a big deal. This is a big deal, David.
yes,
And I really appreciate it.
John, I know when I'm on my last moments here on earth that I choose to be on my last breaths here to go. I gave it my all. I loved with all of my heart.
Uh, yeah, not that I just worked and I was successful economically or
Yeah.
whatever.
And dude,
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, there's risk to
and
doing
I
this.
am, I
Yeah.
am fortunate that way. I have always tried to treat people very well under any circumstances, and so I was for by most people's standards, I was very generous with my first wife. I never even had an attorney.
Yeah. And
Okay.
John, notice how you feel right now compared to the beginning of the call when you had that anxiety going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now you're like, oh, yes, I am this powerful being. I
Yeah.
can do this, right? That's
Yeah.
what your eye photos were telling you is I can't, my love is limited. And that is bullshit. That's the opposite
Okay.
of why you're here. You are,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. Boy, this is really important. I'm afraid I'm not going to remember a lot of this.
Say, I choose to remember.
I choose to remember.
You get to choose, John. That's how powerful you are.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if like, man, society tells you like, yeah, you're getting up there in years and your memory slips. Not bullshit. You get to claim it. God says, decree something and it is established instantly. There's no waiting. Instantly, I remember my genius. I choose to remember.
I'm sorry. Say that again. I'm having trouble hearing.
That's okay. God says, decree something and it is established. So that means every word you speak,
Uh-huh.
instantly created. So when you
Okay.
say, I don't remember, or I hope I remember, that is a victim language. I'm
Yeah.
inviting you to claim your miracle. I
Okay.
remember. I love
Wow.
my genius.
Wow. Yeah. Holy wow, man.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's heavy duty. I hope I'm gonna really remember that. And I'm gonna listen to this because this is all we're about out of time, I think, aren't we? Or you
Yeah,
all
I
right?
do. I do require going to pick up my daughter from volleyball practice, so I gotta
Oh,
go. But well, let's plan on talking next Wednesday.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hey,
Okay, and it'd be either 2 or 3 o'clock, depending on what else. I think it's probably going to be 2 o'clock again,
okay.
if that works for you.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
perfect.
three, but
So I will email you the full report and
all
I'll
right.
send you the recording. So just give me a few hours when I get back.
Oh yeah, no problem. All I'm going to do now is eat and try to relax and go to bed early because I didn't sleep last night. I was up all night almost.
Okay, John. Well, have a wonderful day and great conversation today. I vote your
Thank you.
victory.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye bye.